Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5. Citizens, this is the Movie Junkie DB, and every once in a while I get to do something really cool and something special for y'all. So right now I am sitting with the bad guys of Creed 2. Now, back in 2015, I got to sit with Michael B. Jordan and talk about him playing Adonis Creed in this new sort of a spin-off of the Rocky series, but it's all tied together. And right now I got two of the guys from the Drago family. One of them who he goes by the nickname Big Nasty, and I'm not going to say anything bad about these guys because both of them could probably punch me into the next eternity. And so the first guy, Big Nasty, representing Germany, right?
Yeah, Germany and Romania.
Romania, okay. Yeah. We have Florian Munteanu.
Perfect.
All right, got that right. And the second guy with me is a legend. Obviously, everybody knows him as Ivan Drago. And I got to tell him this funny story real quick because I remember when my mother took me to see Rocky IV in the theater, and I got so caught up with all the fighting scenes at the end that I turned around in my chair and I started boxing the seat. My mom was looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with this kid? But, I was just caught up and I was a huge fan. So, aside from Ivan Drago, you also played He-Man in Masters of the Universe, Universal Soldier. Let me see, what else is there? A Showdown in Little Tokyo with Brandon Lee, R.I.P. to him. And then a movie that I watch, I'm not even kidding, I watch this almost every night, Dark Angel, which also goes by I Come in Peace.
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I'm not even joking. Dolph Lundgren is here as well.
Thank you. Thanks,
and so welcome, guys, to Movie Junkie and Sway in the Morning. And I got to see Creed 2 last night. Definitely impressed because Creed is sort of its own embodiment of the Rocky ideal or the Rocky plot. And when I was talking to Michael B. Jordan back in 2015, I told him that Rocky, to me, aside from being a boxing movie or a sports movie, is a love story. It's about Rocky's love for boxing. It's about his love for the city of Philadelphia, his love for Adrian, all his people, Mick, you know what I mean? And then eventually his love for Apollo, which you then took away from him. And that spawned a whole new chapter in his life because everything sort of changed from that moment forward. So aside from everybody coming up to you probably day after day being like, I must break you, and, quoting lines like that, but you were still a part of the Rocky DNA, even though you went from Rocky IV to now being part of Creed 2. Did you ever think about how you would come back? Because this is your fifth time working with Stallone, but did you ever think like, man, I would love to get back involved with that series somehow?
No, I never did. I was asked to sign off on using footage from Rocky IV many times by Stallone. I always said yes, no problem. But, to tell you the truth, when I found out about this idea about 2 years ago, Sly sent me a text, we say, yeah, we want to play this guy again, whatever it was. And I thought, I don't know, do I really want to go back there and revisit this guy and maybe it'll be like another bad sort of stereotype Russian dude who's like all evil and because Rocky IV was a great film for me, but because the character was a certain way, very one-dimensional in many ways, it sort of held me back, I think, in some respect in my career. So now I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it until I met the director, Stephen Capel Jr., nice young man, very smart. He was an artist, I could tell, in 1 minute. And then I met this guy sitting over here, this short little fellow over here, Florian, and I realized, whoa, I was impressed. I saw his charisma certainly before I even talked to him. And then I read the script, which is fantastic, not just for me. What a great script. It was just one of the best scripts I've ever read. And I thought, shit, now I can play Drago again.
Yeah.
With these odds in my corner, I'll do it.
Now, Florian, let me ask you because Michael and Tessa and all these guys had already been a part of the franchise. This is your first trip around, so Michael and Sly had a time to connect and like build that character connection between them two. This is you coming in, new guy, and then he's playing your father. And you guys have a very, because I can't spoil too much about the movie, but you guys have a very testy relationship. I mean, you're basically fighting for his love. He's using you to fight for his love of Russia. So how did you guys connect? Because there's very little dialogue, and it's just kind of like a very cold father-son relationship. So how did you guys build on that?
So first of all, we wanted to create a father-son bond, and wanted, in order to do that, to be authentic on screen. Dolph initiated it right away to work out with me a lot, having dinner with me, talk about life in general, and also we did a bunch of rehearsals, having Russian together, like learned Russian together and all that stuff. And there was a genuine respect between the two of us and a great chemistry right away. So it was very easy for me to connect to him as a father, because In the movie, Viktor loves his father. Everything what he does is for his father. So that was very easy for me because I like Dolph in real life, you know. And yeah, I mean, I was very happy and lucky to work with him because he's one of the most humble and most grounded people that I have ever seen. No ego, you know. And I think he saw a lot from himself in the past in me. You know, 27-year-old European who has a fighting background, first big major picture. I think that was basically you back in the days.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's it. It's I knew we were going to have to know each other quite well because there wasn't that much dialogue, and a lot of it is in Russian. But I thought, you know, it was a lovely kind of, at least on the page, it was a lovely sort of complex father-son relationship, which you don't see that often in movies. And you know, guys all have a thing with their fathers. You know, there's tension, there's love, there's physical, you know, competition. There's a lot of stuff going on that I think it's terrific. I was very, very lucky to be able to portray that to some extent.
Florian, you touched on fighting for the love of his father, and Dolph, I follow you both on Instagram, and you did a TED Talk where you talked about forgiveness and moving forward, and then you also posted a picture of yourself back in the day where you said you met your two mentors who helped you get over the rough childhood that you had, found fighting, and then that kind of helped with the issues that you were having at school and everything like that in your personal life. So now that you are actually a father in real life and you're a father on screen, how do you apply those things that happen in your personal life and apply them to help you build the character in this situation in particular?
You're talking about it as an actor.
Right, yeah.
Well, you know, first of all, my character I'm playing is this guy who has a lot of issues. He has a lot of pain. He's been misunderstood. He's been mistreated by the Russians and by the Americans, by the whole world, and he's very bitter, and he feels like, you know, he needs to get what is his. Get his revenge on the world, you know. And I've felt some of that because I've had a 30-some-year career. Some parts have been up, some have been down. I got divorced. I drank too much at some point. I had problems with my kids. You know, my career was in the crapper for a while. And you know, I've gone through a lot of those things, misunderstood, you know, looked upon as somebody who can't act, possibly just an action guy should just throw knives at people and, you know, beat their skulls in. So I don't mind, you know, that I've had a great career, but I always wanted to get more out of it. And somehow that parallels Ivan's journey. Right. So this part was a way for me to marry those two and show some of my frustration as the character Ivan Drago.
Yeah. And you playing Viktor, did you have anything in your personal, because I mean this is still kind of new to you, the acting, especially in a film of this magnitude. Yeah. Did you talk to Dolph, or did you just bring in anything on your own, like, you know what, I have something cold that I can apply to, because you had like an angry face the whole film, but it's still hiding the love that you just want from your father.
Yeah. Well, you know, everyone has a history, right? Everyone can use specific things from his real life. And when I got the role, you know, Stephen Capel, our director, made it very clear, you know, I don't want you to play the typical villain. I want you to show a lot of emotions. So I was telling him basically my whole life, and we were focusing on the negative moments from my life. I mean, you saw the movie, right? It's getting emotional in the end. And in order to play it authentic and play it with real pain, you know, I had to think and talk about all those negative moments from my life, which I thought I will never need or use them again. So that was kind of tough, because, like I said before, I shoved them away. Once I got over them, I never talked or used them ever again. And now I brought all those emotions, all those negative vibe and energy back up again. It was pretty hard to do, but in order, you know, to be authentic and be real on screen, play it with real emotions, I had to do it, and that's what I did. But it was tough. I'm telling you, it was
kind of
tough.
like therapy in a way. Like you just kind of use it, but also get rid of it, because that way, speaking about it, it kind of helps you get past it.
Exactly.
Dolph, because I also follow Sly on Instagram, and he always shares pictures from his past and stuff like that, especially with the Rocky movies, and I love those. And I believe it was one point when he put up a picture of you and him when you guys were shooting Rocky 4, and he talked about like some of the punches he actually took while you guys were in the ring, and he was like, this guy, when he connected, whether it was intentionally or by mistake, it hurt. And so watching the film and seeing how you and Michael play with the fighting scenes, because you don't want to pull it because sometimes it becomes noticeable, and then it's like, all right, I can tell he's ghost punching and things like that. There's some punches that look like it was actually connected hard, you know what I mean? So how did you explain the way you guys shot Rocky 4 with the way they were going to shoot their fight scenes in Creed 2?
Look, I saw Creed, which is a great film and had good fights in it, and Michael B. said, well, you know, this one's going to be better. And as soon as I saw them training, I knew I didn't have to teach them anything. They were on the right track. They worked their asses off. They looked real. They were in great shape. I was just watching it. I was entertained, and I was impressed when I was watching them fight. The only thing I told Florian, which I don't think he really heard, was don't go too hard because you're going to burn out. And he did. I think he lost 20 pounds or something during the fighting.
I had to lose it.
Yeah, so, you know, he was... Because I remember Rocky 4, that it was tremendously exhausting to box 12 hours a day for 2 weeks.
Exactly. But you know, once the adrenaline kicks in and you see the camera and you want to prove yourself, right? It's really hard to hold back. Like, you really start to swing hard and with all your power right away. And I kind of gassed out during the process, but you know, you have to fight your way through that.
But it worked out.
It worked out, yeah.
Also, I love the fact that you guys are very supportive of each other. I mean, I know you guys are doing a crazy press run for this film, but you guys are always sharing pictures of each other, you know what I mean? And we had Carl Weathers on our show, we had Tessa on our show, Michael's been on the show before, and Rocky or Creed is always like a sense of pride in there, like being a part of something more than just a franchise. It's about a story that just continues and has stayed with people for so long. I mean, this changed Sylvester Stallone's life, you know, initially once he finally sold the script. And so when you guys are a part of this, being that you're new, but I mean, you've been a part of it, even though it was from one film to now, does it give you that sense of pride? Like, you know, this is a meaningful film for so many people, that it's more than just, oh, I landed a cool role, I get to work with some cool people. Like, does it mean a lot more to you being a part of this particular movie?
I mean, definitely. You said it very good before. It was kind of therapy for me, and you can tell that on screen. And I think those movies in general, but also Creed 2, has so much, you know, to give away to the people. It has great messages. You know, it's not only, or it's not at all about, you know, winning and money and fame in life. You know, it's about the people you care. It's about the people you fight for. It's about family, loyalty. And I think, you know, you don't have to be a boxing fan to love this movie. I think boxing is secondary in this movie. I think this is a movie for families in general, and there's so much to get and to take from this movie. I mean, you got to see it. I don't want to give too much away here now, but I definitely have the feeling that, you know, a lot of people are going out of the theater, you know, grabbing their phones, calling their parents, calling the people that they love, and just simply tell them, hey, no matter what the issues are between us, I still love you, I still care about you. So I think that's the message, and it's a great message.
Yeah.
No, you're right, man. You said it in your first sentence. You said these are movies about love, and I hadn't really thought of that, but if you think about it, that's what it is. It's love for people you fight for. It's you know, love actually. It's weird. It's a movie about fighters, but somehow Stallone brought this other thing in there, which grabs everybody by their heartstrings. It's strange, you know. And I agree with you that, you know, if you're part of this franchise, the audience love these movies, and they end up loving the characters in the movies more than just some tough guy who kicks ass. You know, it's not about that. And that I've been part of that for 30 years, and you're part of it now, and I'm happy, and I'm really, really lucky to be part of it too.
Right. I'm sure people are going to be coming up to you with like as many times as he's been getting called Ivan Drago throughout his life. You're going to be getting that same thing. Victor, yeah.
Probably, yeah. It's already happening, so yeah.
You got to love it, though. I mean, you landed a great, like a dream role just to be on screen with such legends, you know what I mean, and be a part of this. So it definitely is. I mean, it comes out November 21st, Wednesday. You have to go see this film, especially, you know, if you have a father, whether you're close to him or not, you know, it'll definitely touch you in that way. And even if you just have family, you know what I mean, take them out. It's a great film. You'll bond over it. You'll laugh. You'll cry. You'll get into it with the action. Definitely go see this film. Creed 2 in theaters November 21st. That's a Wednesday. Go see it. Great Thanksgiving film. Go see it. Thank you very much, Dolph Lundgren and Florian Munteanu.
Yes.
Said it again. All right, cool.
Perfect.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.